Sam Mayes, he's found his way to the Port Adelaide Footy Club as part of the Chad Wingard deal. I'm sure he's hoping for a fresh start. He's been good enough to join us now. Sam, welcome to the show.
G'day guys, how are you?
Very well, thank you. I must say this trade took some people by surprise. Is this something that you were looking for, or was it suggested to you by Brisbane?
It was a bit of both. I caught up with FIVEaa during the year, and he sort of just said, if you want to go explore your options, you can. And we kept pretty civil about it the whole time. And yeah, it's good to be heading back to my home state to play some footy. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, if we go back to the year you were drafted, we were talking about this at the start of the show. There was a bit of a suggestion that you were going to be ending up at Port Adelaide, and then Ollie Wines was on the table because I think the Bulldogs took Jake Stringer, and then Port Adelaide took Ollie. Is that urban myth, or is there's some element of truth in that?
I think there is a bit of element in truth in that. I did end up getting drafted to pick after Port Adelaide. But yeah, 6 years later, and I'm now at the club and pretty excited about it.
Sam, you've done well, 101 games. You're only 24, and you've been through some tough times there at Brisbane, but they're just starting to make a bit of a game. You had a great year last year, just a little bit down on form for various reasons this last season?
Yeah, a little bit down on form. But I have great confidence that I can get back playing my best footy, and I think that my best footy's good enough. So I'm looking forward to working hard over this off-season and pre-season and putting my best foot forward.
How tough was it, some of those Brisbane years, because they couldn't win a game, they're getting beaten by plenty. You were there, as I said, you've clocked up 101 games, but how hard was it?
It was a very difficult time. It's a little bit demoralising when you're putting in such hard work and not getting the results. And that's just something the club's been really sort of doing. Like you put in all the work and the results aren't sort of happening, and it can be frustrating for players, and I'm sure it's frustrating for coaches. But yeah, I think Brisbane's on the up, obviously. They showed some good signs this year, and all the best to them. But yeah, I'm excited about the new challenge at Port Adelaide, and hopefully we can win a fair few games as well. I
suppose they picked up, one last question on Brisbane. We're going to talk about you and your new start, but they have picked up some good talent when you look through Hipwood and Rayner, McCluggage, Berry, the like. So their future does look reasonably bright, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They are quality kids, quality players, and they'll do extremely well.
One of your strengths is your versatility. You've played at half-back, you've played on a wing. In discussions with the club, where do you see it, and where do the Port Adelaide Footy Club see you playing footy?
Yep, with discussions that I've had, I think there'll probably be a few more of them to be had, but I think sort of wing, half-forward. But obviously, having played half-back for the last couple of years, I have the ability to go there if needs be, but I think it'll generally be wing, half-forward, sort of.
What excites you about the Port Adelaide Footy Club?
They are a very good side. Playing against them previously, they're a very tough side to beat. Have some very good players and leaders in Ollie Wines, Travis Boak, Brad Ebert, those sorts of guys. And I think their youth is very, very talented as well, like your Riley Bonners, those sorts of players. And obviously playing in front of big crowds, that's pretty exciting to me as Brisbane. We sort of only just struggle to get to the 20,000. And yeah, obviously playing in front of my family and home state is big for me. So I'm looking forward to that.
Players can move so quickly these days, Sam. Who was your first port of call from Port Adelaide? Who made that very initial contact with you?
The first port of call? The first person I spoke to at Port Adelaide was Michael Voss.
Okay.
And he was the man that drafted me 6 years ago at Brisbane. And I've kept a pretty strong relationship with Bossy since I was drafted, so he's a quality man.
Was it the come-home factor, too, to be up there in Brisbane and not a lot of success, not a lot of winning games? Do you sometimes envy what the Crows have done and perhaps Port, and you think, gee, I could be part of that?
I think you always look at the teams up the top and have a sense of jealousy that they're winning games when you're down the bottom. I think that's one of the things that drives the teams down the bottom, though. They see that success. They see how close teams bond together when they are winning. So yeah, it's obviously something that you look into.
Well, the other thing, of course, now I'm a little bit biased. You're a Port Pirie person, so we're happy to get you back into South Australia. And when you were in Adelaide and South Australia and growing up, were you a Crows or a Power fan?
I was neither.
Yeah.
I was a Melbourne Demons supporter.
The Demons. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. And I guess I know that all this stuff happens reasonably quickly. How long is it before you get packed up and you move back and start to get your life sorted out over here?
I think that I'll maybe head down in a few weeks' time. I've got a couple of commitments up here. My partner's a bridesmaid in a wedding in a couple of weeks' time, so I'll stick around for that. But yeah, I'll make my way down. Well, depending on when the club wants me back, if I'm needed for any certain thing, but probably early November. And yeah, meet a few of the boys and get ready for pre-season training.
Got North Adelaide boys back to Port Adelaide too. You would have kept an interest, the North Adelaide's first premiership for a while, Sam.
I did. I was very interested. I was sitting watching the grand final on my laptop at my house in Brisbane, following with keen interest.
Yeah, it was a decent sort of game too, beating old rivals Norwood. Yeah.
It was a very good game of footy, and it was great to see something like 40,000 people there at the game following it. That's amazing.
Were you recruited at a similar time to Jared Pollock? Was that the same time at Brisbane?
Jared was 2 years before me, but I did spend 1 year in Brisbane with Jared.
Okay, and he's found his way home. In fact, he's found another home now, so it just moves that quickly. Yeah, but
yeah,
interesting stuff there.
Yeah, Sam, I guess I've sort of followed you a little bit, and most South Australians keep an eye on the South Australian players as they forge their careers in different states. I think most Port Adelaide fans are pretty happy to have you back. Like we said at the start, there was a glimmer of hope that you were going to start at Port Adelaide. You've now found your way here 6 years later, and I think everyone wishes you all the best.
Thank you.
Wishes you all the best.